That'll do, pig. That'll do. Babe the pig has been shouldering the breakfast burden for far too long. Think of all the things that pig has given us. We've been getting pulled pork, bacon, ham, sausages, steaks, huge number of things. So it's time for another barnyard animal to step up to the plate. And I've got just the thing. You see, I'm from lamb land. I'm from New Zealand, and lamb is just the best meat. So why not use all of it? Right here, we've got lamb breast, which is essentially the same cut as a pork belly, but from a different animal. We're going to turn this into bacon. So lamb bacon or laykin or whatever you want to call it. And to do that, we're going to make a dry brine. We're going to stick it in a bag and leave it there in the fridge for about 2 weeks. Sorry to my housemates, but that's what's going to happen. So the brine, the dry brine we're going to use, we've got a little bit of Prague powder. That's going to make sure nothing grows on our meat except for deliciousness. We're going to have a little bit of that, maybe half a teaspoon for about 1 kilo of meat. Then we're going to have some sugar. We've got some juniper berries here, bay leaves, and salt. And that's all it's going to be. And we're going to put it in there, leave it, and we'll come back in 2 weeks and see how we go. So, let's get cracking. So this is Prague powder. It's basically mostly salt, and then it's apparently got some sort of nitrite or nitrates in it. Basically it's meant to kill all the bacteria, but it's toxic in this form, and it's toxic if you use too much. So we'll only be using half a teaspoon, but it smells oddly like chlorine. We'll give it a go then. Here's the mixture. The pink Prague powder has basically dissolved, and well, not dissolved, it's been mixed into it so you can't even see it anymore. I'm going to spread this all over the meat, massage it in for a little bit, and then it's going to go in the bag. So we'll put half on the top, and then we'll flip it over soon and put half on the bottom. So we've actually got two. It was a bit too long. So you can see it's already starting to sort of get all juicy in there. I'm going to stick both of these in the fridge, and they're going to get a flip every sort of day or two to make sure that they're getting nicely coated. And then hopefully I haven't screwed it up. So into the fridge they go, and see you in 2 weeks. Wakey wakey. It's bacon time. It's a bit sticky, which is nice. I'm assuming that's the sugar it's done its work, and it's really firm. Like way more firm than it was before. You can see all the sugars dissolved. The only thing that hasn't dissolved is the juniper. So hopefully that's imparted quite a bit of flavour, but it's delightful to see that it hasn't really discoloured. But next up, we've got to use another one of our sensors. Got to use your nose. It smells delicious. A little bit sweet, peppery, and if I'm not mistaken, I can still smell the nitrite, the Prague powder. Luckily, this thing's getting a rinse. So the reason you got to give it a little bit of a rinse is because I put a a lot of salt on that. So we're going to rinse some of it off. As long as you don't sort of like leave it in there to soak, it should be fine. I'm just going to get off some of the loose bits of juniper as well, because, you know, we're trying to get a nice even flavour. But it's had 2 weeks to penetrate the meat, so it should be fine. So what we're going to do is I'll finish giving these a rinse. I'll pat them dry with some paper towels. And then once we've done that, I'm going to take one of them and sous vide it for half an hour at about 67 degrees Celsius. And then the other one I'm going to give a bake in the oven. And that's going to be at around 100 degrees Celsius. And that's going to be about 2 hours. Basically just going to warm it up, sterilize it a little bit just in case, because, well, let's face it, lockdown's bad enough, but having stomach problems during lockdown's even worse. Most peculiar thing. On this side, you've got the sous vide bacon, and on this side, you've got the oven roasted bacon. Now, the sous vide was in there for about 30 minutes, got it to a nice hot temperature, about 67 degrees Celsius. Then I took it out and spent another 20 minutes in the oven, just sort of drying it out. Now, the actual color of it, it's not that nice. You know, it could have done with a bit more intensity, but on this side, the color of this one's fantastic, but the bacon hasn't sort of stayed together all that well. It's sort of breaking apart a little bit. So what I'll be doing is I'll be giving these a bit of a fry up, see how they compare in both flavor, whether they hold together, and we'll be pairing it up with some stuff. So what I'm planning on doing here is getting a lovely bit of bacon, and gonna do the classic thing. Gonna fry it up, gonna do it with some bacon and eggs. It's gonna be fantastic. On a bit of rye bread, maybe a little bit of oregano in the eggs, a little bit of sour cream in the eggs too, squeeze of lemon to finish it off, and scattering of herbs. And that should really do the trick. Give us our best indication of what this is gonna be like. Please, for the love of all things film, stop using an angle grinder on a Sunday. Please. I think we're good. So, quite simple. Don't really need to explain much here. We've got some scrambled eggs, we've got some bacon, we've got some lovely rye bread, a little squeeze of lemon, some oregano right there. So, let's give it a go. We'll just try a bit of the bacon by itself first. Whoa. Okay, it's undoubtedly lamb. The lamb is front and center. It's leading a parade of flavor. A little bit of sweetness and some saltiness hanging in behind it. Still very, very present. And then in behind just a little bit, we've got some juniper, and then finally some fairly underwhelming bay leaf, which I think would be remedied if I had done it probably with a fresh one, but it's really tasty. It's sort of reminiscent of maple bacon. That Muscovado sugar is sort of like very, very present, malty sort of flavor. It's delicious. We'll try it with a bit of egg. And let's really, this is the test, you see. Like, this is one of my favorite things to have for breakfast. You've got to have a bit of bacon, some scrambled eggs, and some rye bread. And that, to me, is just the perfect breakfast. Now, can it go toe-to-toe with normal bacon, with pork bacon? Yeah, it really can. That's fantastic. I would say that it's hard to say that it's not better than normal bacon. It's definitely better than turkey bacon, but it's sort of like, it's got its own unique flavor profile, and 100% worth a go, especially if you can't eat pork. I mean, that's a fairly limiting thing, and bacon is just fantastic. So why not ditch the turkey, try it with a bit of lamb. It's well worth it. But now it needs a name. What should I name it? I think I know. By the power vested in me, by me, I dub thee Diplomacy Bacon.